like myself. I didn't know what direction I was gonna go in as a kid.
Right.
Thought I was gonna be like my homeboys, either dead or in jail.
Welcome to expediTIously, man. This is T.I Harris. I am your host, and we have the iconic, the legendary, the prolific, the trailblazer, visionary, freedom fighter, Uncle Luke, Luther Campbell. Hey, listen, bro. They got some shit wrote down, man, as far as, your introduction to being a businessman, community activist, author, television personality, radio host, so on and so forth. I ain't even finna get into that too much. Not right now, because I want to say thank you for a couple of reasons. We have in common. You have had a hand in my life. Probably don't even know it. The very, very, very first I got for myself, right, was Two Live Crew, Nasty as They Wanna Be. I was 8 years old, I think.
8 years old.
I was 8, 9 years old, right? And my grandmama, we was in the mall. We was at Greenbrier Mall, and she was supposed to buy me a toy or something, you know what I'm saying? And that was supposed to be like, my reward for coming and shopping with her and, waiting with her while she's shopping the mall. So right. I said, instead of a toy, I want a tape. So we go into Peppermint Music in Greenbrier Mall.
Peppermint Music.
And they asked me what I want. I said, I want that right there.
8 years old.
8 years old. She wasn't paying no attention to know what the hell was going on. She just paid the money, gave me the change afterwards. I went home, man, and consumed myself with Two Live Crew, man, and grew up to be who I am today, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that shit, man, had a lot to do with you. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate it. That had to be a hell of an experience.
I mean, I was ahead of the curve. I felt like, man, next time I go back to school, you know what I'm saying? I ain't even playing the same. I can't play in the same sandbox with you kids now. You dig what I'm saying?
I know, because you might have fired up saying it wasn't supposed to in the sandbox. What the fuck are you doing? Hey, Grandma, where you got that from?
Hey, man, and then, right, another thing that a lot of people may not know, especially, man, once you get, you know what I'm saying, in the, beyond the millennials and the generation X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. A lot of people don't know the contribution that you had in allowing people to rap with freedom of speech. Like, you actually caught a Fed case for that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And fought it.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, and people don't realize how difficult that was. It was, when you have an album and and the store clerks are getting put in jail, and then, the police departments around the country telling you you can't come in those towns and perform the songs. Other than that, you're gonna go to jail. We had an option whether we just want to just leave the shit alone and say, okay, y'all ban the record, it's off the shelf. Then eventually every other city would have banned the record, but then we just took it upon ourselves and said, fuck it. We're going to go into the city where y'all banned the record at, and we're going to go to jail. And I knew the police was out there, and we said, okay, hey guys, y'all want to do this shit? We're going to get, when you see motherfuckers walking around with tight football jerseys on, they the police. Like, yeah, police right here. So we ended up getting locked up and then going to jail because we performed a record that was supposed to be deemed obscene, because it was 3 cases going on. It was one where they deemed the record obscene, and that was in the federal court. And then now with the record being deemed obscene, you can't perform it until you get it overturned in court. So I was fighting that battle. I didn't have to fight that battle, but I looked at it and I said, if we don't get this overturned, then that'll set precedent. If anybody that's been in the system, you understand that you use case law. And they use, okay, this is the case law, and that case law would have been on the books. And before you know it, any other rapper coming after us, if they said motherfucker, or fuck that, or whatever it may be, and they would use that case law because it would have been a federal statute against any artist. So I didn't want that to be on the books. So, you know, I spent quite a bit of money getting that overturned.
So what album was it that they actually?
Nasty as They Want to Be.
Oh shit! Same fucking album. It's my fucking album.
They say I'm fucking up T.I. mind. You're fucking up the young kid's mind. We got fucking grandma buying T.I. the fucking song. All up. He done went in the sandbox and shit. He looking at the girls a different way.
Hey man, I will tell you this though. I didn't even want the girls in my class in my school no more. I was looking at high school girls. I'm looking at girls older than me from that point forward. I swear to God, man. But what people won't understand is the severity of the circumstances that you was in, right? They say that there was a store clerk. They say there was a store clerk in 1988 that sold a copy of your shit to an undercover agent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine how serious some shit has to be. You know what I'm saying? Just take yourself back, guys, to 1988, and what exactly which organization was it? FBI?
It was Broward County Sheriff Department. What happened was, because the record was deemed obscene in Broward County, then it was national because it was a federal case at the time, just like you say. But in Broward was where everything was really popping off at. And so this Broward sheriff, his name was Navarro. He's dead right now. He used to be on TV with Geraldo all the time. So he was like a reality sheriff that, you know, they put the cameras behind him and show him putting motherfuckers in jail and all that, doing dope buses. So he took it upon himself to kind of come after us. Once the sheriff deemed it obscene, he went into the guy's store. The young man named was Charles Friedman, and Friedman was the same way. Friedman was like, "Fuck it, I'm selling the record. Y'all can come lock me up," and they basically locked him up.
So imagine how serious some shit has to be, you know what I'm saying, at the time for taxpayers' dollars to be used for policemen to go in and basically create a sting operation just for artists selling music and CDs. They could be out robbing, selling dope, could be doing any of a number of things, but instead of that, they put their talents to good use and legitimize themselves, and you know, and they created somewhat of a task force against you guys. Yeah. And had you guys not stood up, stayed solid, and fought that shit, then it would have been more than just the parental advisory sticker. We wouldn't even be able to say the shit that we say.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and that's what it was all about. Because the way I looked at it, you know, because again, I could just say fuck it and just left it there and didn't fight it. But the way I looked at it, I was like, everybody behind us, you know, everybody behind us is gonna be affected by it. So you got to fight this. You got to fight this because again, what kind of brought it on also, you had Tipper Gore, which was Al Gore's wife. Right. You know, and Al Gore was a senator before he became the vice president. She made this blacklist. It had me. It had 2 Live Crew on there. It had Ice Cube. It had Guns N' Roses. It had NWA. It had all the rappers on this blacklist. And so they were blackballing us, and they were targeting us, and they were going after different politicians because they had the money to just stop hip hop. So when you know that it's a movement to shut down, you know, hip hop, because at that time, now it's starting to cross over to the white family's household, and they want to shut this shit down. You got to take a stance. And you know, my old man always taught me, say, look, if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So I just was like fuck it. Whatever amount of money we're gonna take to fight it, we're gonna fight it. And we eventually won. And then they came back at us again with another case, the case that went to the Supreme Court, because they, you know, we sampled, we did a parody of Pretty Woman, And so they said, well, we couldn't catch these motherfuckers on that. Let's catch them on this parody. So I ended up getting sued by Roy Orbison Estate. And for doing the parody, we ended up in the Supreme Court. To make a long story short, that was another attack on hip hop, and we eventually won that case in the Supreme Court.
See, I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah,
So,
that was a serious one.
So Banned in the USA was a result of that case, or the one from Nasty's They Want to Be?
Yeah, the one from Nasty was much more of explicit lyrics, whether they were deemed obscene.
Yeah,
and
that motherfucker was serious.
Yeah, that Hey, look here. I was selling them motherfuckers out the trunk of my car, man. I had to put nasty. I had to put girls on there with ass, and I made sure on the back of the cover it had face down, ass up. So when you grab that motherfucker, you was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck are they telling?" So all that shit was straight marketing. But the parody one that went to the Supreme Court, that was where the parody was protected by the First Amendment, and that was all based on sampling. So everybody, all of us back then, we doing the sampling, but we ain't getting no clearances. You feel me?
Right.
We all getting sued, and that we not sampled, but we did a parody of the song, and before you know it, they was like, "Oh, we got this nigga right now." See, and then we eventually got sued. I went to the Supreme Court. I also got sued by George Lucas for the name Luke Skywalker. So I got sued by him. You know, it's that group of Tipper Gore. They call them, the name of the group was Focused on the Family. And so they had a group of powerful senator wives and all that shit. And so, you know, they used to call me Luke Skywalker when I was a jit, and the record company was Luke Skywalker Record. And they ended up suing me. I was getting sued from everywhere. They were just trying to stop what we were doing and just stop hip hop in general.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for all that you've done on our behalf, man. This generation and the ones to follow, bro. And I don't think enough people acknowledge it and, you know, take time to pay homage. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you. I salute you, and ain't nothing but love and respect on this end. But you've had a lot of firsts. Like you've been the first to do a lot of shit in this game. How did you actually, or when did you actually get into the game?
Well, I got into it. I was a DJ, so I would say about 1976. I DJed with a little group of dudes. We actually, we at the beginning of it, we were a gang, and I was the leader. Of the fucking bad guy.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, leadership has to take form in some shape. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. So you're in the trap, and then you go from the trap, then in the gang, from being a DJ, and then you go DJ. Before you know it, we just started. The DJing thing was our way out. We looked at it like that, like, hey, look, we don't want to be living this life that we was living, doing what we was doing, and we started DJing, and then before you know it, we started having big packed crowds at the parks, at the dances, skating rinks, and then from that, we tried to, I tried to diversify the DJ group and start bringing down hip hop artists, because at that time, there wasn't no hip hop artists coming to Miami, and until we brought them back, none. No, this
so
shit.
So you telling me niggas was avoiding Miami?
No, it was just no promoters that was bringing them down. So you talking about 76, where we bringing down Divine and Tila Rock and Mantronics and Jekyll and Hyde and shit like that. So I was a promoter, bringing these dudes to spin at the play at the skating ring and shit. So we went from that. Then I brought down 2 Live Crew, and then everybody came down. Everybody that came down, I brought Run DMC. Everybody came and said how the record company was fucking them, and they wasn't getting paid. And then I bring this group 2 Live Crew down, and they said the same thing. And before you know it, that's how we ended up linking up.
Okay, so 2 Live Crew was already in existence before you came in the picture.
Yeah, they were actually in the Navy, and one was in the Air Force and one was in the Navy, out of California. It was
Okay.
three guys in the group. The original member was Yuri Velot. Yuri Velot was a conscience rapper. That's what people don't know. It was, you had one side of the record that was conscious rap, and then the other side, Chris had a song called Beatbox on there, and that was more around the bass way of music. So that's kind of gravitated to us down in Miami because everything was about the bass. And so when I brought them down, they wanted to try to find a deal. And I looked for a deal for them because I didn't want to be in no fucking record business. And before you know it, everybody kept saying, nah, we don't want to fuck with that. We don't want, they don't want to bother with that. And there wasn't no such thing at that time of a hip hop group coming from the South, period. It was like, and I was interning at the radio station. And so I knew all the radio guys, and I would tell them, hey, look, man, this shit hot. Take it back. And they would be like, man, no fucking, we get hip hop artists from New York, and we barely fucking with Philly, and California got their own type of shit. And so now you talk about Miami, so they kind of just South, period. They was like, nah, we ain't fucking with that. So I ended up putting this stuff out myself.
Damn. Okay. So when you actually decided to get in the group and become a member, what was that like process like?
What was happening is because I was like, it's gonna be difficult because you don't have a big budget, you don't have a record company behind you, and I just kind of gave them the idea, hey, look, we might need to do some comedy shit. You might want to change the shit up and put some Dolomite in there and some Leroy Skillet in there and some Aunt Esther in this motherfucker, to add it on there. And so we didn't say okay. But then Yuri, Yuri the conscious rapper, black man, I love him to death. Yuri's like, I ain't on that shit. I'm not trying to rap, but I know throw the dick and we want some pussy. I'm not vibing like that. So Yuri eventually ended up getting out of the group. And then me being a popular DJ, and DJing in Miami is similar to, what they do in Atlanta, different than what they do in New York, where we get on the mic and we get the crowd going and shit.
Right.
I did. And the guys were like, look, man, we need to get you in the group, to be the hype man and come on and do what you do DJing. So that's how I eventually ended up getting into the group. I didn't want to be in the group at all.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that it's something about, like, one thing that I could tell, regardless of whether you're a hip hop artist, whether you're an athlete, whether you're an actor, a school teacher, or work at McDonald's, I can tell leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? People who were put here to lead. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is what got you in the group. And once you decided to do that, that's kind of what, pushed you up to the front. I believe that there is a skill or a talent in the leadership of people. And I think, man, you have presented yourself as a leader from the time I was introduced to you up until now, even in, your role in the community with the football teams and, the Little League football team. Can you talk a little bit about your involvement in the community, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a kid, that was bused to Miami Beach as a kid to play football. I mean, everybody in Miami, the rite of passage is to play football. You got to play football. If you don't play football, then you better get in the band. If you got in the band, then you got your ass every day. You feel me? So that it wasn't no band going on in my house, and I'm the baby of four brothers and no girls.
Dang.
So that was hardcore up in there. And again, we ended up, I ended up being kind of good, and so I got bused to Miami Beach every day to play football. So we ended up, from elementary, junior high, senior high, I got bused over there to play ball. We would have to be off the beach, South Beach, where everybody liked to go at. Back then, black people couldn't be on the beach after 6 o'clock. If you was on, yeah.
In what year?
That was in that was probably 70s. That was I finished school 76, so you would say those 6 years over there, I would say 70. And in the 70s, you would have 70, 72 and all that, you would have to be off the beach. After 6 o'clock, you go to jail. So
Damn.
we were kids. We would get busted over there to play ball. And at the end of the day, you know, when I did that, I was like, I don't want no other kid to have to deal with that, because when I looked at it, it wasn't about education. It was two things going on. It was integration, and then they wanted us to go over there to be the great athletes to make the school, the white school, look good. And so I said, I don't want no other kids to go through that, and that's why I started my program in Liberty City, where I'm from, so kids don't have to be subjected to that. They can just stay in their hood, see their homeboys, play with their homeboys. And so actually this year's our 30th anniversary of our program that we started. And I mean, we won probably more national championships in Pop Warner football than any other program in the country. We probably have more.
I know you and Snoop were going back and forth for a long time.
Yeah, I hooked Snoop up. I actually, Snoop actually called me up, man, and asked me, you know, he saw what I was doing, and we talked, and I was like, this is how you do it, this is how you kind of put it together. And he put together a hell of a program out there with some of the guys, you know, that he came up with in LA, and they're doing some good work with those kids. And so, you know, we always mix it up. Every now and then we'll play each other, but we always stay in touch on the sports aspect of it.
Right. And you know what I'm saying? Now that relationship is very good to see how positive the outcome has became, because y'all didn't start off on such good terms, you know what I'm saying?
No.
You know, the evolution of real men brought y'all to a better place, and I'm glad to see that.
Yeah. We didn't start off just like you say. I mean, I think everything, just like you said, everything works itself out. You know, at that point when we was on a different end of it, I mean, he made a song about us, we made a song about him. Him and Dre and everybody, and then everything.
Well, no, because the songs came after the actual action. And see, that's the thing about the old school versus the new school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? See, I learned from cats like, okay, if we do a song about y'all, this song is going to be a reflection of the action that has already taken place. We not doing the song and then waiting to run into you.
No. You're right. You are correct. You have the action. You have a situation, and then you go in the lab and talk about, okay, you this kind of type of motherfucker, and you did, and then all that, and then you squash it. Right. It becomes a situation, and so back then, Suge Knight was beating up everybody, and every record executive in the world was scared of him. But again, you know, it was like, okay. You know, I think it was somewhere down the line where it was an interview, and I was like, nah, that motherfucker ain't gonna punk me. You know what I'm saying? I don't get out like that. And so it became a situation, and we had a little run-in, and then we made records. And then from making the records, long story short, it all came to a head in Atlanta.
Yeah, Jack the Rapper, huh?
Jack the Rapper. So I told her.
I heard about that shit. We was in the trap when that shit happened, man. I heard all about it.
Oh, you was supposed to come over there and help me out.
Shit, hey, man, I might have been 13, man, 12, 13 years old, man. Trying to get my little dime bags of weed off, man. You know?
He's like, hold on. Hey.
I would have loved, but the thing is, I would have loved to been in that shit, bro. Like, you know.
Listen, let me tell you something.
It's good I wasn't around, bro.
Oh, listen. It was like, because back then it was more. It was, you know, it was South, because we in the South, you know, what people don't realize, you know, we really got shitted on just because we were Southern artists. We would go do shows, like I remember in Mississippi, we would go do shows with Run DMC, and they'd give us 5 minutes on stage. You could understand this. You get 5 minutes on stage, and you got this much stage to work with, and here you got at least 15 or 20 or 30 minutes worth of songs, and they just like, fuck them niggas from them Bama dudes from the South, and we
Yeah.
cut everything in the world. So we end up having to fight them one night. And so you go to the next venue, you go to Memphis or somewhere, and you got Eric B and Rakim, and they saying the same thing. We don't fuck with these down south niggas. So it became it was a whole nother fight, and you would do so when we got to that situation, it was like, damn, why are we beefing? Because we went through the same struggle. I remember, we will only be able to perform and tour with like groups from California or groups from Philly. So we would perform all the time with NWA, and me and Q, we would sit down and talk about that shit. And so I kind of knew if it ever becomes a beef thing, I didn't think it was going to be a beef with the South versus West Coast versus South, but it was more going to be a beef with New York versus everybody else. So that's how it kind of ended up there. We had the big brawl, and all the guys from
that
Atlanta.
Motherfucker was epic.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
That motherfucker was epic.
Oh,
was it the Omni at the Omni Hotel, wasn't it?
It was at the Omni Hotel, and all kind of TVs and shit. Everybody knew what was going down.
Epic. We heard about that shit on Bankhead.
Hey, I walked out the place with all kind of blood on me, and Puff Daddy called me up and said, "Why you stab my damn security? I had nothing to do with this shit."
Hey, and the best part about that shit, guess what? Nobody did no time.
Nobody did no time.
Nobody told on nobody. Nobody did no time. Motherfucker handled their shit like men. Went back to their respective areas and continued, you know what I'm saying, to get it how they live,
Yeah, and everybody had respect for each other after. I mean, even after that, we hadn't seen each other. I invited them down. I invited them down to the Super Bowl game and said, "Look, man, let's just smoke the peace pipe because, we don't need to be going through this. We gotta get this fucking bag." And so
too much money.
It's too much money. And so they came down.
Too much money.
Yeah, Snoop, man, we dapped it up and we sat down and met, in my suite at the football stadium, and shit, it was all good from there. We've been friends ever since then.
Man, that's amazing, bro. That's amazing. I think, and the purpose of this show, man, is to have conversations, right, with people who are relevant to the discussion. So the kids who growing up, who in the same position that T.I was in back when my grandmama was buying me nasty they want to be, or the same position that you was in when you, the same position you was in when you was a DJ or a gang member, and we would have had the information that we have now. We would have been able to navigate our path a lot differently, man, and avoid a bunch of the shit that we went through. So, I like to have discussion with people that, that could drop some jewels.
Yeah,
and help them goddamn get their stuff from where they at to where they want to be in life, with a smoother path, a smoother transition. And I think, man, you have definitely, man, you lived the life of a legend. You single-handedly, well, I won't say single-handedly, but you've been accredited along with your other group members in Two Live Crew with starting Southern hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was again, like I said, it was a challenge, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate what you're doing on the show, because just like you say, we gotta give them the information. 9 times out of 10, these young cats, they ain't reading the book. I mean, they ain't gonna pick up a book. They ain't no Source magazine. There's a blog with a couple of lines, and 9 times out of 10, people gravitating to the bullshit that they see on there or whatever they see somewhere else. But it's important for OGs like you to be able to give them the information, because there's a lot of kids came up just like us, and they coming up right just like us right now. They got talent, and they don't even know they got the talent. You know what I'm saying? The talent come in all different shape, forms, and fashion. You don't got to be, that Rhodes Scholar at Harvard, but street knowledge is the best knowledge. And so when they're having these kind of conversations, it's good for them because it inspired them. Because a lot of them, like myself, I didn't know what direction I was gonna go in as a kid.
Right.
Thought I was gonna be like my homeboys, either dead or in jail. I didn't think I gonna be able to help my homeboys, become millionaires and live good lives and all that. And I think that's the real important part of it.
Absolutely. And it's incredibly important that how your commitment has translated into the lives of others. And you've even developed a very good relationship with the University of Miami and their sports department. So much that, they've even adopted the big 2 Live Crew gold chain, you know what I'm saying, for the big plays, man. So how did that come about, that relationship?
Oh man, I mean, being a football guy, being a football guy, and being a kid going to the games. And back then, my brother would take us there. When I was about 10 years old, we go to the game, and UM would be getting their ass whooped, 80 to nothing by Notre Dame, and Georgia come down here, beat the shit out of us. 70 to nothing. I just sit there like, shit, one day we got to get good. So eventually, I end up, career started taking off. And one thing we did on the first album cover, we put the jackets on. We put the UM jackets on, and we had the UM drawers on. We had everything UM. And so we kind of embraced the school, and then the school embraced our shit, So we were like outlaws, and my whole mindset was, because we're from the South, everybody hate us, and the shit we was going through on the road and from the industry, that we were the bad guys and the bad boys, and we was the outlaws of the entire industry. They took on that same identity. I would have a conversation with some of the players, Jerome Brown and Winston Moss and all them dudes, and we would just sit around vibing and say, look, man, they don't like y'all the same way they don't like us. So y'all go out there and do that shit the way y'all want to do it. So that's when we established a relationship, and I've been like part of the program forever. I mean, it is, which is good. And, to see all these see the guys come in the program and then mentor them into doing great things with their career. Because I always told them it was about money. And then one of the other things why I kind of got involved in the program, at one point they didn't let black people go to Coral Gables where the school is located at. And when they started bringing kids from the inner city, they were just in there robbing them fucking white boys. They was taking the money. They was robbing everybody on campus. Them niggas was acting like niggas shooting that shit up. So I'm sitting up there, big 2 like, oh, hold on, I gotta get these dudes straight. So you end up going down there, hey man, y'all bring y'all ass over here, man. You gotta understand the opportunity that you got. You're gonna get an education, put yourself in a position where you could probably go to the next level. Don't do that shit. Let's do it a different kind of way. And so that's why you saw the dancing on the field, cussing motherfuckers out, hitting late hits, running through the tunnel. We kind of orchestrated all that.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge part of our culture and our community that I feel like mass incarceration has taken away. The leadership roles, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the young cats, man, running wild because it ain't no real leaders left, And everybody look to, of course, the celebrities and the athletes, but what we need is motherfuckers boots on the ground. Like we need kids is in middle school, high school, going to college, who they coming home and seeing on the corner outside every day. And the war on drugs kind of took that away from us. You know what I'm saying? So I salute and respect everything you got going, man. Tell us about Warriors of Liberty City.
Words of Liberty City, that's my youth program. Like I say, I co-founded with my homeboy Sam Johnson. We founded the program 30 years ago, and I never really publicized the program because it wasn't about, okay, all right, rapper putting money back into putting money into starting a youth program. I ain't never want that. So for years we went where just people just would go and randomly write books on the program, how great it is. And we would keep the media out because we didn't want that kind of attention. And so eventually LeBron came to me, and me and him talked with this other kid, Evan, and they were like, you got to put this shit on, people got to see this around the country, because what we do with our program, we make sure dads are involved, because when we started the program, it was based on, it's year-round sports. We trying to support single parent mothers, but the program transformed into, single parent mothers, but dad, if you ain't in that kid life, you got to come out there. You know what I'm saying? Dad is incarcerated, then dad, in order for the kid to be in the program, you had to stay in touch with that kid. So that's why when you look at the show that we did on Stars, you will see Black men involved. And I think, to display that around the country, to let people know that Black men are really involved with their kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because too many stories of the daddy left, he took off, left the mama with 4 kids. There's a lot of stories like that.
Sure.
But there's a lot of stories where there's some Black men that's in their kids' life.
And took over and took care of kids that wasn't even there.
Yes, sir. And you're correct. And that's what we do at the park. I mean, we got 150 volunteers, men and women, and the women are in the women lives, and we walk around, make sure the girls are doing the right thing. The academics got to be on point. Other than that,
right.
You'll get to the study hall, and we make sure our kids come out. I mean, like, we got some kids that became doctors, some kids that became lawyers. Like, one of our biggest supporters is a commissioner, which is the chairman of Miami. He was a kid that came out of the program, and through our program and the influence that we have in the community, and this going into the politics part of it, we were able to get him elected because of the alumni base of the program. When the conglomerates was putting their money on this pastor, we eventually got him elected. And so he's currently the commissioner. He ran, this is his second term. The other term was unopposed because anybody want to fuck with him, because he know how strong our base is, and that it's virtually impossible to beat him. And so we do that with a lot of other political candidates, because we feel like if we control the politics in town, then the community will get what's needed. It's easy to be standing out there talking shit, but if you get involved in the politics, you'll be able to make some moves and get some things for your community.
Yeah, it's important that you say that. And you were one of the first people that I saw, especially from the South, you know what I'm saying, that was like concerned and clearly involved in local politics.
Mm-hmm.
What gave you such an understanding for local politics so early on?
Well, I mean, I looked at it what got me, because I know everything that was happening to Two Live Crew was politics. It was all based on politics. It was state attorneys who get elected. It was sheriffs who was getting elected. It was all politics. It was politicians, fucking Dan Quayle, the vice president, talking about fuck the Two Live Crew, put them in jail. It was all politics. So I had to some kind of way get involved in the political process. But then I looked at it and say, we spend a lot of taxpaying dollars. We pay a lot of taxes. How can we're rappers. T.I represents Atlanta. Luke represents Florida and Miami. Jay represents New York. So I looked at all of us as representatives of our area, even though we and by the amount of sales, those were our actual votes. So those
were the votes. Okay.
You feel me? So that made us the representative of that area. I rep my city. We all rep our city. So what's the difference between us? We represent our city, just like the politician represent the area in which they was elected to represent. So I said, look, if we just take that formula that I rep my city, and we take the formula, the fact that we pay all these taxes, you pay shit taxes, everybody call you. Hey, Tip, can you sponsor the football team?
Yeah.
And can you help us
build? My tithing.
Exactly. So so I looked at it and say, what can we do? How can we get the things that they can get by using our platform? so if my platform is, okay, I'm Luke, I represent Miami, and I got all these people that love me here, and all these voters, I can get guys elected. And on top of it, I can go to the board, school board, or whatever commission meeting and say, hey, look, use my money, use our taxpaying dollars, build them a building, redo that fucking park.
Right.
Put lights over here. Get this police chief the fuck out of our neighborhood because he got the police fucking with people. And so because you got the numbers, now we got numbers, we encourage everybody. We won't just say register to vote for no president shit. We say register to vote for this movement. And we got, we're able to get shit done, get shit built, get people jobs. I mean, not the bullshit jobs. We're able to go
city
and get
jobs.
Yeah, get real money around here. Yeah, get the benefits because they know the powers in the numbers. They know shit. If right now if T.I go and say, look, I'm endorsing this fucking lady right here, this dude right here, and you had a conversation, hey dude, when you get in that seat, we need all this shit right here. That's the only reason I'm fucking with you. And you'll be surprised how many people will go out and vote because of who you are and what you stand for.
That's
real. I don't just support them just the bullshit. Hey,
that's
look,
real.
No, it's a long list of shit. You ain't I'm not gonna endorse you just so you can get up there and bullshit us. No. So I mean that's what we try to do.
But I asked that question because you'll be surprised how many people just actually give up that kind of endorsement without any kind of request or accountability from the other side. They'll just go up there and stand next to them, and then they'll use their influence to benefit this particular politician. But when that politician get elected, they don't have ain't no real understanding of what is supposed to be done in exchange for that.
Exactly.
That's what we got to get out of.
Even the brother, I tell them all, and I have conversations with them all. They know you got to come, you got to tell me your platform, and then I got to tell you what the hood want. For instance, I told him, I was like, hey man, they get ready to legalize marijuana in the state of Florida. I got two things. Legalize marijuana in the state of Florida, but you got to put it in the policy that if you have a felony because of selling marijuana, that should not exempt you from getting a license. That should not exempt you from.
That should actually make you an expert.
That should make you an expert, especially if you grew it up and everything else. So dude was kind of wavering on that, and then I was like, man, basically you can't sell us down the river because now we can't have if you'll put a whole community out of business if we don't be able to sell our own weed. And then the weed man go to jail. The weed man can't sell. You bring somebody that don't look like us down. They set up these dispensaries. We need to be able to sell our own weed. Then the other thing was, which you could relate to because you're an expert in this. I was like, we need the tax credit to be able to do the movies and the television and the film industry tax credit. So it's like, oh well, I don't know. I'm like, look at how that stimulated the economy in Atlanta, and we got all the sunshine and all this shit. People be able to have an option where they can be able to shoot down here, and then we could then get some of these black communities get the tax credits in the black community where now you'd have to house your production out of those communities, and then they would
create jobs and create so many jobs for turn a struggling community into a thriving community.
Exactly. I mean, better than anybody. I mean, shit. Once they're doing a certain amount of time on the set, they become union. Now that person, shit, he just holding up the clipboard, and all of a sudden, $1,500 a day. So he could take that.
Now, see, as well versed as you are in politics, I have to ask, and I'm sure you've heard it before. When is Luke gonna run for mayor of Miami?
Let me tell you the little trick I did. I did run. I ran some years ago. It was a special election because the mayor had got pretty much impeached. And I ran a special election. I knew that it was going to be difficult for me to win. But what I did know that if I ran, I could establish a base of people, a block of vote. And so now when I did get the block of vote, then I could then take that block of vote and then use that block of vote to get shit for the community. So right now, I came in like 3rd place, and I have like 30% of the electorate in Miami-Dade County. So before anybody become the mayor of Miami, it's almost like you rather be the king or the kingmaker. The kingmaker, I can still go and do what I do. So so they had to come to me. They come to me all the time to get my endorsement, because my block of vote will then tend to vote my direction. That candidate 9 times out of 10 normally wins. So that's my way of being able to get shit for the community and for our people. And they don't fuck with us like that.
I mean, man, you have always been just a pillar to the community in Miami, and you've always represented Miami to the fullest. And so when I saw your video that you posted a couple weeks ago, instructing people that when they come to Miami, you know what I'm saying, to leave it the way they found it and don't disrespect the ground. Now, I agree with you completely, because I feel the same way about Atlanta. Can you please kind of share, you know what I'm saying, exactly, without interruption, what you meant?
Well, the thing is, what I meant was like this, you have a lot of people that come here and move. We love it. We great artists come down, move down here. But then you have a few that come down, they'll leave from different areas because they got a problem from where they live at. Then they'll come down here. They use the hood as a backdrop. They use the kids in the hood as pawns in the game. They promise them record deals. They give them the little, sign them up with the little bullshit, but then they don't never go past. They're not really having a deal with the record label, so they kind of use some of the kids around here, and on that front, the business part of it. But then on the other side of it, I tell people, if you move here, get involved with the community. Be involved. And there's some cases where you just want to move here and hide and duck and don't want to be involved. That's fine. But then now when you start claiming Miami and you're not from here, it's no different. Like if I'm in Atlanta all the time. My sister-in-law live there. I'm not gonna run up in Atlanta and claim Atlanta. I'm gonna show respect to the people like yourself, Gip, everybody. Those, shit. Hey, I'm moving in Atlanta. Where I'm moving at? Where I'm moving around at? Hey, Gip, I'm moving around over here. I'm over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have respect for the community. I ain't acting like I'm coming in there hijacking the community. You feel me?
Right.
I try to tell these dudes, don't come in here, have respect for the community, do what you do, and treat people the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't do nothing but respect that. That's, what I'm saying, that goes without saying, what I'm saying, but I guess common sense ain't always common.
No, it's
but look though, now I got to say, because I was a little one at the time, but there was an instance where it was a large group of Miamians that made their way up to Atlanta, and they didn't have the mentality of Uncle Luke at the time. You know what I'm saying? They had a little bit more a mindset of destruction and domination on their minds. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think that honestly, bro, we've all come a long way. Our cities have come a long way. We've grown together. We've learned from each other. We've made millions together. You know what I'm saying? You opened the door for me and everybody else who came after you to come in, man, and reap the benefits of all of the fruits that this industry has to offer. What do you think is the biggest difference between back then and right now?
Back then, it was like I remember that movement. It was a lot of killing. A lot of my homeboys. It was like a fucking war. Like it was almost like some out of one of them gladiator movies where they go and take over a whole nother territory, and you got to go and go to war. And so it was a lot, and a lot of my homeboys right now who was in that and did a lot of shit. They're getting out of jail right now, and some of them still, a lot of them buried up there. And back then, again, it was almost similar, just like you said, it was similar to what I say when a lot of people come from north to come to Miami. They think, okay, all these niggas is country down here. You know, they slow and shit, and we just gonna hijack the town. And I think a lot of that was taking the game from here and going to Atlanta, saying, oh, we'll take this same game, this street game and this hustle game up there. And then Atlanta wasn't having it because they had their hustle game on, and so it became a big problem. And a lot of the Miami dudes kind of moved into the bushes up there, and a lot of them came back, the ones who didn't die. But I think the difference is right now, everybody kind of respect everybody's territory. Yeah, every now and then you'll have somebody get out of line and then try to go set up shop in some place where they ain't got no business, but then they know if you do set up shop somewhere, you're gonna probably end up getting what they call touched up.
Yeah. I mean, man, I think that the Miami boys and Atlanta situation, that shit is unique to the times that it happened in. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of other shit going on around during those times that had shit to do with none of the people, none of the players that was involved. And a lot of times, you know, motherfuckers was really being used as pawns on a chessboard.
Yep.
Because that was around the same time the Iran-Contra scandal when, you know what I'm saying, when they were bringing in the dope from Nicaragua and dropping it off and just trying to distribute it in the hood whatever way they can. And, you know what I'm saying, I think that, you know, if we learned anything from that, it's do what benefits you and yours without having to harm or violate anybody else.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. I mean, because that back then, I mean, they had and they got a documentary on TV about it. I mean, they had cocaine cowboys. I mean, everything you saw in the Scarface movie, which everything you saw in that movie was pretty much how shit was going on around here with this group, Blanco and all them. That's how that shit was going. So, and their whole thing was they would like go take over here, because we got all the goods, and it was. That shit was deep back then. It was real deep, and so they were just like you said, they were sending guys as pawns in the game to try and take over other areas, and then they were giving them all the guns and everything else to try and do that.
Now what is odd is right, because another door you kick down is the door of, I guess you could call it, the hip hop sexual revolution. If you so all the shit that going on right now with the twerking and the cucumbers and all of the, you know what I'm saying? All that shit really come from 2 Live Crew.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine that shit would have evolved? And even OnlyFans, okay? So now, the same shit motherfucker were doing on stage with you, they doing at home in front of their computer and got motherfucker paying them thousands of dollars a month in subscription. Did you ever imagine such a thing?
Let me tell you, I remember being a young boy DJing at the teen disco, and across the street from the teen disco, it was a fucking strip club called Tootsie's. And it was a little strip club.
Tootsie's?
The Tootsie's. Your favorite place. Yeah, your favorite place.
All right.
A little club on the corner. It's not the big what you have right now. It was a little club on the corner. And I had some white dudes. They were my security for the teen disco because the white guy owned it. He felt safe with them protecting the place. And them dudes said, man, I'm going to take you over. I want to take you to the strip club. And I was like, man, black people don't go in no strip club. Hell no. So then I eventually ended up going in there, seeing that shit. I was shocked. And then now you fast forward to the music part of it. I'm like, man, we got to be different than Run DMC and all these other dudes. Shit. They got the power behind them, so then I added the girls to it.
Right.
We knew it. The shows got more crazier. And then you then had the Rolex, you know, strip club, and then Magic City and all these strip clubs. And we would end up getting the dancers from there. But we created the dances. You know, all the twerking was popping that pussy, and so that was the song. That's what they did. That's how they danced to it. You know, and it's crazy for it to evolve right now to see where it's at. It's amazing because you see people dancing to it. I'm outside, so the bugs is fucking with me. You see people dancing to the music, and you see them twerking, and you see them changing their names, and they're doing the same exact dance that their mama did. So it's real funny. I be like, hey, I got some pictures and shit in the garage. I be like, man, all these people who came to these shows and saw this dance, and y'all got these babies, and these fucking babies is doing the same shit.
Man, what's the wildest shit you seen, man? The wildest shit that you could imagine that happened on a 2 Live Crew tour?
Oh man, shit. Which one you? Well, we had one time where, because you know you go through these phases with the show, and you make changes with the show.
Right.
You know how that goes. So one year we say we're gonna make some changes. We're gonna get some. Because we had to went through the strippers, we had to went through the dancers, and we like, fuck that. We need girls that's gonna do tricks on stage. So we had got two girls from Chicago. One girl, she was pulling beads out of stuff, and like a lot of beads. So she would come out there, pull the beads out. And then you had one girl that would take a baby doll and stick it up her. And so it'd be a part of the show. Oh, she's finna have a baby. She's pregnant. Look at my wife is laughing. She probably
bro.
That ain't
listen, man. You can't make this shit up, bro.
Oh, you can't make it up.
You can't make this shit up, man. And speaking of which, I heard that you also have a biopic at Lionsgate underway.
Yeah, I need you to play me.
You want me to play Luther? You want me to play Luther Campbell?
I need you to play me. You got the Southern accent.
I can't wait.
I need you to play me. That'll be
I can't wait, bro. Man.
I can see you with all the girls on stage.
Yeah, you gonna get me shot now. You go.
Then you'll be the one directing the 3-ring circuit on stage.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. So basically, man, and I'd be honored to do that, by the way. So you know what I'm saying, offline, if that, you know what I'm saying, we can kick that can a little later. But the actual show for 2 Live Crew, it came from your experience at the strip club. Yeah.
I mean, what we did, right? Like I say, you know, once we got into the part of, you know, just like you say, when the 2 Live Crew is like, okay, we got these records, we gotta perform the records. We gotta get the people what they want. We can't be up here talking about we want some pussy and face down, ass up, and head and more head without describing that on stage. So I kind of always looked at the show as, you know, you're going to get the same shit what you got in the music on stage. So then
the visual representation.
Exactly, the visual representation. So we ended up going to the strip club, getting the strippers. And I would tell the strippers, you know, we started off doing them in the videos. You know, so the videos is like, I was like, fuck these little skinny ass girls, models, they can't dance. You know what I'm saying? So what I would do is I would take the model girls and use their face, because back then they had all the makeup and their hair wasn't like it was now. It wasn't no stitches. Yeah. So we would take the face of the model girls and their face and use the ass of the dancers. So when we shot it, it was like, you know, and then I would tell the dancers, I was like, look, you gotta perform for the, and so if there was a nice looking, we would say, you gotta perform for the camera. Do that same shit for that not attractive guy to get all this money. So we would tell them to do that shit to the camera. And so that kind of like locked people in. And before you know it, and then obviously we couldn't get the shit on TV, but then they came with this video jukebox. And that was kind of helped us out. That kind of blew us up. Because, you know, that's where it was all pay-per-view videos and motherfuckers was sitting there looking at the girls with the fat asses.
That was the first YouTube.
That was the first YouTube.
That was the first YouTube, the video jukebox where you could call in and you just, whatever video you wanted to play for what, 99 or $2.99, you put that video in and that motherfucker would play whenever you wanted it to. That was the first YouTube. Shit, I remember that shit vividly. Now, tell me this, because we gotta travel, we gotta take them on a ride. What happened? You who didn't even want to be in the group Two Live Crew at first. Mm-hmm. What caused you to go solo and become Luther Campbell?
Well, I mean, you know, when I was with the group, I never had a contract with them. To this day, we never had a contract. We were all, it was like, okay, whatever the group decides as a group, we'll do as a group. So when I started the company, you know, now the group is in the company. They, you know, we're putting the records out. They're doing their thing. They're making their money. We're doing tours. I'm discovering other artists, whether it's Poison Clan or MC Shadi or H-Town or all these different other artists. We just doing the business of it. But we never had a contract. Everybody else did. And so there came a period of time where we were going through something at the company where we had so many samples that I was getting sued from everywhere else. So one thing the guys, you know, one of my lawyers said, the way you get rid of all this shit is you might want to consider doing a Chapter 11, not a 7, because you can't do a 7 because you ain't fucking broke. You do a Chapter 11, put all those lawsuits in one bag, and then you just pay them, and then all the money that you still getting off the records that you selling, that money come to you and you don't have no bills. I was like, oh, hell yeah. That shit. And so at the time, they said, hey, look, you got to, so now in order, you might want to do a contract with the Two Live Crew. And so now I had this one guy who was a lawyer in the company, which I kind of suspected him. He was a little shady, which quite a few of the people who worked there were like, you gotta watch that motherfucker right there. He was my lawyer. He ended up, you know, I said, well, get a contract for the Two Live Crew, because if I'm gonna do this shit here, then I'm gonna have to cram this down on all the artists that's on the label, and they with the label. So we ended up talking to him about a contract. You know, long story short, the contract was one-sided toward them, so it was like him negotiating it. So Buddy, at the end of the day, he was trying to steal the group from the company to start his own shit, which he eventually ended up doing. And once we did that, once the contract was all fucked up, I was like, look, I don't want to be bothered with it because I ain't on that. We ain't never had a contract. The shit that we talk about is ridiculous. Y'all really want to be with Homeboy? Y'all can go with him. You know, and I owned the name at the time because we registered. I was the caretaker of it. We all owned it. But then I say, take the name, and I gave it to Chris. God bless his soul. Y'all go do what the hell y'all got to do with this dude here. And then I eventually ended up going Chapter 11. So in the Chapter 11, everybody could have made a decision who want to still be with Luke and who don't want to be with Luke. So they eventually went with him. And that was it for me as far as being with them. And then I ended up, while I was in Chapter 11, that's when I discovered Trick Daddy. I actually got him out of jail, and we were staying together. He came, stayed at my condo, and we just started doing music. And we did an album when I was in Chapter 11, and I had signed up. I did a deal with Island Records, and they were trying to get that motherfucker, but I had never signed up as an artist to my own company as well. So, you know, that's how that broke up, and they went their way. And how we got back was they came, because they put out records, the shit didn't do nothing, and they were like, yo, man, we want to work this shit out. And so I'm, you know, hey, man, it's whatever. You know, and so Ice Cube, that's when Ice Cube stepped to me about doing a song on the Friday soundtrack.
Okay.
You know, he said, hey, man, I got this song I want you to do. And I was going to do it as a solo artist. And I said, nah, these dudes trying to come back and we can get this shit going. So then that's when I ended up taking that song, taking that ideal in the song, and then I made it a Two Live Crew song because I said this will bring them bring the group back up into the spotlight, because this movie gonna be big. And that's when I did Hoochie Mama. I took, because you know they were saying it in the movie, the clip they sent me, the girl was saying, oh, and the dude was like, oh, you a hood rat Hoochie Mama ass bitch and all that and everything. I took that part and you know, and I put it in. So we tried to go do it again, and shit, they got hot, and them niggas went south again, and I was like, okay, I ain't fuck with y'all no more.
Damn. So what was it? So did you take a piece of info, like did you take a lesson or any piece of information that you learned from the group into your solo career?
Yeah, I mean, I took a lot information, because me and Mix, you know, being that both of us were DJs, me and Mix were able to, we would vibe on the same level. Like I would be, you know, I would say, okay, Me So Horny, I'm looking at this Full Metal Jacket movie, this lady, Me So Horny, and I say, man, what about sampling that Mass Production, you know, Firecracker, because that's a big song at the crib, you know, and he was sampling it, put the shit together, put the beat on it, and then had a girl in there. So, and then we were going, hey man, y'all need to just rap about me being horny. So all of the production part of putting together a song, and I learned a lot from Mix, because he was the producer and he had more experience. How we put songs together and created the songs. You know, that I learned a lot of that from that, and you know, and what I transformed into something. You know, just like you asked me earlier, when you got in the group, you know, I got in the group as a DJ talking shit, and then I ended up finding a role within that, and my role was, okay, now I'm the guy that's singing on the songs versus the guy just at the show getting the crowd hyped up. So now I found a niche. Okay, this is who you are. You DJing on the record. So I do I Wanna Rock, that's me DJing, and I do We Want Some Pussy, that's me screaming, and all the other. I still stayed in my lane, and that's why I always tell people, you know, I'm not necessarily a rapper. I'm a hype man. Me and Flavor Flav in a whole nother area. You know, you guys are living. You know, we're like it's like a construction site. We cement guys, and the rappers is the motherfucker who plow the fields and shit. So I kind of did, you know, stood in my lane and did the things that I would normally do in that.
Another thing we have in common, DJ Toomp.
Toomp, my man, Toomp. Yeah.
DJ Toomp. So DJ Toomp is the godfather of trap music. Me and DJ Toomp, man, in here how while he would cut my hair, man, he'll be playing beats and shit. And I come up with, I think, 24s like that, Be Easy, Dope Boys and Trap Niggas, and Toomp mama house while I was over there getting my hair cut. Wow. He'll just be going through beats, and I just come up with shit while I'm getting my hair cut, take the beat with me, and we'll have a song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
DJ Toomp started out with y'all, didn't it?
Yeah, man. DJ Toomp and Mike Fresh. I mean, I remember like it was yesterday, man. Them dudes came down, you know, and they were young, you know, and they young producers, and they wanted to do music, and it just, you know, they had, I mean, great fucking ideas. And so when I looked at him and Mike Fresh, it was like a breath of fresh air, because at that point I was only working with one producer, you know, and that producer was Mr. Mix. And Mr. Mix was doing everything for the company. And so those guys came on, and they just brought a whole nother perspective of how to do music, how to do music, how different the music is. And so we just basically gave them Poison Clan, this y'all shit.
Poison Clan was some of the most, that was some of the most unadulterated gangster shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. JT Money, man, hey man, hail to the Poison Clan. You can never trust a man.
Exactly. Life's a bitch, so why marry one?
A nigga in love with a bitch is very dumb.
Very dumb.
Hey man, So that brings me to my next question. After all of the shit that you've gone through, that you represented, that you learned in life, how does Luke take that into fatherhood, into marriage, into this part of your life that you're now living and doing an excellent job at it? How do you transition? Like, how do you balance all that?
See, and that's, listen, man, that's the unique part of it, because like I got a 10-year-old and then I got a 27-year-old. So my daughter, who kind of runs my company now, I always knew that, one thing about kids, they like to be in their own shit. Because our shit is old shit. So the good part about it, they ain't trying to, not like me. I was a kid. I'm looking for the Dolomite shit and all that. I'm listening to the cussing shit when everybody gone. But for them, they don't want to. They don't like daddy. They don't look at daddy as a artist. And want to listen to daddy shit. They want to listen to their own shit. So for years, I was able to escape it. But like right now, the 10-year-old, he runs around in here, and when you have fucking French Montana and shit sampling my music, and you having Travis Scott talking about, yeah, when I'm in Miami, Uncle Luke and my son 10 years old, and he all on the fucking, he's like, okay, all right. He goes to school, and everybody's like, yeah, Travis Scott said your daddy name. So now it's the cool guy that they fuck with. It's fucking house. It's actually, yeah, your daddy, and then I gotta watch the YouTube and police that shit, cause I got, yeah. So that's
the most strangest shit.
Yeah,
that's the strangest shit. Cause we go as a youngster, we don't never imagine ourselves. Just like you said earlier, we didn't even think we were gonna live to see 21, 25, let alone 30, 40, and 50. So we're not planning for the future. You know what I'm saying? We out here living for the moment, having the best time we can right now, because we don't know how many more we got left. We have all of us who held a certain position in society as players, I guess you could call it. That's the conversation we have with our daughters at all times. Hey, listen, whatever you do, do it on your own terms.
That's
Don't
right.
let nobody get you in no position to make you feel guilty. If you ain't doing this for them, then you don't love them. Whatever you do, if you start itching, but don't let nobody tell you itching for you. You know what I'm saying? You scratch the itch when you see fit, on your time, on your terms. I think that's the best. That's the best piece of advice any of us could give any of our daughters. And you also had a show on VH1. Another thing we have in common. You also had a family show on VH1.
Yeah.
And what was it? It was parental advisory.
Parental advisory. Yeah, I had my kids on there. It was. I wanted to show. When I kind of came up and did the show, they approached me to do it. Most of everybody. They wanted to see the transition between, the guy with all, at night I'm in the strip club with all the girls and doing all the wild shit on the shows and the tours, and then now I got to be a daddy, then I got to run the office. So it's kind of 3 phases of it, which was real. It was real fun, and I went into it in the mindset that this show is not going to ruin my family. You know what I'm saying? Because I looked at it and saw a lot of families getting ruined, behind reality shows, because at that time it was a lot of families on reality shows, kids going crazy because they can't handle the stardom. We can handle it because, we done went through shit, but then now you got kids, and then now you got producers making shit up. So I wanted to show, because most people think, oh man, Luke, I'm going to Luke's house. He got motherfucking bitches swinging on them chandeliers and shit.
Hey, that's definitely what I thought. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's definitely what I thought.
I know. You thought.
How could we not? You know what I'm saying?
I say you supposed to think that, and at one point I did have that.
That was the design. That was the way that as you said, the marketing of it all was designed for us to think that way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But at one point it was like that when I was single.
Now, how long have you been married? How long have you been married, Luke?
Oh man, this is my 11th year. It's my 11th year.
Your
Yeah,
first wife and only wife.
person only, person only. I was like, fuck this. If I do it, I'm only gonna do it one time. I let her know, and you
That's
know
how
it
I
took.
feel.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
it don't make no sense if you can't
If
get
this
one
shit
right.
don't work, then that's just it, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
That's just it. You done fucked it up for everybody else. If this shit don't work, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no more.
But I, you know, and it was
One
hard.
and done.
One and done. That's right. It was hard for her at the beginning because you know how it is. You know, girl get with celebrity and she ain't in the business, don't know nothing about it. But I then told her, I said, look at all. I said the difference between us and the R&B dudes and actors and actresses, we're loyal to rappers are loyal to their girl, their wives.
Right.
We're loyal. And when you look at the grand scheme of it all, you look at Cube, you look at KRS-One, you look at LL Cool J, you look at you look at, you look at all these guys, and then we are loyal. So don't get it twisted with us with what everybody else does in the entertainment business. If we fuck with you, we fuck with you, and we're gonna ride it for life.
And that's the thing now. A lot of people will listen to you say that, and they will challenge loyalty and say, well, how could you be loyal if you have infidelity? And but see, the thing is, right, okay, everybody at some point in time, man, woman, child, gonna fuck up. Everybody. Now, absolutely, it's gonna happen. Now, what happens after the fuck up and what you choose to do to correct it is what's going to determine whether or not you loyal to this person. If you fuck up and you say, all right, well, you know what? Yeah, I fucked up, but get what? Fuck it. I'm gone. I'm through. So what? So what? I fucked up and it's over with. I'm gone. Right? See, but if you say, okay, shit, man, I fucked up, man. I fucked up. Cool. Let's goddamn put this shit back together, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't nothing be the fuck up but a fix. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what you describe. And people who might have took one to the chin or two, or a few, but at the same time, they got up more times than they got knocked down, and I think that's what's commendable.
That's the commitment. That's the commitment to the marriage, and because just like I say, there's gonna be challenges. If you plan on being, you get up there and say, oh, we're gonna be together forever, till death do us part, to sickness and health, So that not mean I got a cold or
I mean, sick in the head too, right?
I'm sick in there. I fucked up. So if it's a strong bond, you hold on to the bond and you stay there because especially when you got kids involved. Everybody can easily cut and run and all that. So you gotta look at the body of it. And I tell people all the time, they're like, "How the fuck did you stay married?" I was like, "I got married when I was ready." Fuck that. If I wasn't ready, I wasn't gonna get married because I was fucking around with everybody. So when I got tired and ran my course, then I laid it down.
Okay, so right now, if the opportunity came, right, if they putting together another tour, they need Luke Skywalker, Uncle Luke headlining. We want to be 2020. What would your answer be to some shit like that?
Nasty is the one. Let me tell you, my thing is, my answer would be yes, and the reason why
with conditions.
Yeah, with conditions, because I feel like we are beyond. It ain't about Luke and nobody else. It's about the fans right now. When you have the fans who paid the records, they die hard. They're the ones who be arguing in the barbershop. Who the best rapper? This is my guy. This is my group. Who the best group? It becomes beyond the individual. So it's more about giving the people what they want. So I think it's kind of, it'd be fucked up when you go in and the fans want all that whole group together. I don't have this shit. We ain't gonna do what we did before. We ain't gonna party. We gonna go into the hotel room. I'm gonna be on a different bus. I'm gonna it's going, you know, I'm an independent contractor at that point. So we ain't vibing like that. We ain't going home. We ain't partying together, nothing. It's all business, but you owe it to the fans to give them what they want, because ultimately they the one paying for it. They buying a ticket to go see that.
Man, that's an entrepreneur's way of putting it. You know what I'm saying? That's a very eloquent, professional way of putting it. But look, man, we've been talking a long time. I appreciate your time. It's still a lot of shit that we ain't covered. I didn't know that you were a columnist for the Miami New Times. You know what I'm saying? So you actually got into the world of journalism. I didn't know that you were a sports radio host. I had no idea. And I didn't even catch that you were honored by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like you say, it's shit. We can sit here and talk all day.
You're busy as a motherfucker, man.
I know, man. I don't know how the hell I'm half Jamaican. You know, us Jamaicans, we're jack of all trades. We're all over the fucking place. I mean, I try to do things for a reason. Like I do the column, you know, right after I ran for office. I say, how do I speak to my constituents on a weekly basis? So I use the column in a major newspaper as my newsletter on a weekly basis, talking about the issue. So so I use that. I write it up. We write it and put it out, and it's more like a newsletter to everybody. So again, when it's time for me to endorse somebody, you know, I'll then write it up. This is why I endorse this person. These are the things they're gonna do for everybody. And so, you know, I try to do stuff like that. I was doing the sports radio show. I stopped doing the show because it was just too much. You know, I coach high school football, and trying to get from the sports radio show to the practice field, from the office and all that shit. It got a little too hectic. And then I got mad with my co-host. I cussed him out, but at the end of the day, it was too much for me anyway.
So before you go, man, I gotta say congratulations, man. You have a new podcast, The Luke Show.
Yes. I got to get you on there.
Man, I can't wait to be on there. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's pretty much a takeoff of the column, because the column's so popular. I've been doing it for like 7 years. You know, it's about sports, politics, and entertainment. So I kind of try to cover all those bases. You know, I interview, you know, Bakari Sellers, you know, talking politics, CNN contributor, guy, you know, who was an elected official in South Carolina. Then I did Jaden Rose, and just came out the one with Desmond Howard, you know, where we talked about, you know, college football and his life and things that he went through. So, you know, we try to do those things, you know, and it's interesting because you get to, just like your show is, you get to have great conversations, get in depth, and talk about things people don't normally know, you know, because most of us just see the shit on TV or blog, and they think you know a person, but you don't really know a person till you talk to them.
That's real. Is there anything? Well, first of all, where can we find the Luke Show?
It's on Podbean, and it's on all the platforms. Podbean distributed. It's pretty much on all the platforms, and you know, people find it interesting because you know I get a little off the cuff. You know, I get. I'm saying I'm the fucking free speech guy, so I kind of.
As you should.
I try to keep it real. Yeah.
Man, as you should, bro. I appreciate you for everything that you've done, man. All your contributions. All of the doors that you kicked open for us. And when I say us, I'm talking about me and everybody that do what I do. If you cuss on camera, goddamn, and get paid to do it, you owe Luke some appreciation. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I'm shaking your ass on camera. And you know good goddamn well you wouldn't be doing that shit if your mama was in there. Then again, some of y'all had that so damn bad nowadays, you probably would. But even still, all the OnlyFans motherfuckers, y'all owe Luke some appreciation, man. Is there anything else you got going on, man? You wanna shout out? You wanna holler at us about?
No, I mean, you know, that's about it. I mean, we got a couple more docu-series that we get ready to plan on before the pandemic. Drop a couple of those in the coming years, start shooting them. In the movie, you know, we're excited about the movie. We went through a couple of writings of it. Still trying to work
Who
that out.
producing the movie, by the way?
Marty Bowen. You know Marty?
Marty Bowen. I heard the name before.
Yeah, he did quite a few movies. Marty is doing the movie and shit. We just chopping away. You know, I like this whole transition of getting more involved into TV and movie from the side of it. I think we still have a lot to offer from the Miami perspective of showing the shit that's going on here, because you can see, you know, I love what y'all do in Atlanta and how they show Atlanta and shoot it and the shows that are coming out of it. And you already got New York and what comes out of there. I just think, you know, shit, we need to see some palm trees, and there's a void for it. And, and some
Who the fuck can say no to that? Who can say no to that?
Exactly, the strip clubs and palm trees.
You dig what I'm saying? That sounds like another podcast.
In the beaches, exactly.
Hey man, hey look, hey play that word again for me right quick. All right, cool. All right, so Uncle Luke, we have a tradition here expeditiously. The tradition is the word of the week.
Okay, let me be on the beach. Since we're on the beach.
Go ahead, yeah, shit, man. I feel better already, man. So the tradition here is the word of the week. Now, the word of the week is a word that I pull out of my illustrious vocabulary or the dictionary, and it's a word that describes the guest or the conversation that I've had with the guest. And the word that I've selected in honor of you today is ribald. R-I-B-A-L-D, ribald. Ribald is an adjective referring to sexual matters in an amusingly coarse or irreverent way, vulgar or indecent in speech, language, etc. Now, what I will do, what I do is, I'm going to use it in a sentence. So motherfucker who listening right now, they can go off and use the word like they don't know it their whole life. They ain't gonna give me or you no credit, don't trip. All right, so using it in a sentence. Back in his day, Uncle Luke was known for his ribald songs and explicit lyrics, such as Face Down, Ass Up, which is one of my favorites. You got to love this shit, man. Man, thank you for all you've done. In music, in the community, and in your life, man, and just being an example, bro. As a black man coming from where you came from to where you are, you're alive, you legitimate, you successful, you accomplished, you committed to your family, and that's an example that, you know, we didn't see enough of growing up. So I just think, man, you know what I'm saying, it's my obligation and everybody else that look like me to salute you while you still here to see. You dig?
Hey, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, my brother. I appreciate everything you're doing, and I appreciate you having me on the show. And just like I said before, I love what you're doing, and you represent us fucking well, you know, and whatever you're doing. I mean, family-wise, TV, movie. I just love the fact, you know, I look at young guys like yourself and see how y'all transform you to hip hop as a platform to just expand yourself. And do what the fuck you want to do when you want to do it. So I really, I'm a big fan, and I really appreciate what you do.
Man, thank you, man. I can't thank you enough. And of course, Tip wouldn't have been Tip without Nasty They Want to Be. I'm going to just let you know that right now. There wouldn't have been no Pussy Pumper #1. There wouldn't have been no Hey, Let's Get Away, or none of that shit without my grandmama buying me Nasty They Want to Be at 8 years old, thanks to this gentleman right here.
Hey, that's crazy. Listen, that's crazy you say that, because there have been plenty tours where I had to listen to motherfucking T.I before going on stage to get my ass turned up. So it's
that's what's up, bro.
you say that, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I got to put T.I.
It
on.
all come full circle, bro. It all come full circle.
Yeah, say
Man,
hello
love
to
and
your wife.
respect.
Come on and say hello to
Absolutely.
T.I. She's over. She finally made it back.
I had to get my
Don't
run.
tell me what we talked about.
I already know.
Nah, man. Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Queen?
I'm good. How are you?
Love and respect, man. Thank you for allowing us so much time with your king here, man. You know.
To the palm trees.
Hey, man, me and my old lady gonna come down, man. We gonna kick it one day.
Please, we would love to take you out to dinner and have you over, and the kids too.
Absolutely. Love and respect, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now. This has been expeditiously.
Expeditiously.
Watch your favorite episodes of Expeditiously right now on the Expeditiously YouTube page.